Hello, everybody. I'm Dane Gentry. Hope everyone's well tonight. Hope you've all had a good day. Everybody's safe at home. Going to join us tonight for a live show here on Podbean again. Nick B's going to be coming on and joining me soon. I originally had named this episode "The Past is the Past," but it's what I'm going to talk about. It's kind of on that topic as well. But uh, Nick, you ain't got a picture no more, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hello.
Hey, how
Hello.
are you doing?
Oh, there you are. I can hear you now. Your picture was gone. You're different there. It's a
Can
little
you hear
different.
me?
I can now, yeah.
Okay.
Your picture was different. I wasn't sure if it was you or somebody done faked your profile or something there.
No, no, huh, I don't know. Just looking at the screen, it's not. I may have hit the wrong thing and
No, it's
erased
okay.
my emblem.
Yeah, it ain't no big deal. Um, how's your day been, man?
Long.
Yeah, I'm sure. Um, hey there, GJRB, how you doing, man? Um, you're more than welcome to come on up here and talk with us if you want to. Uh, I originally had called this "The Past is the Past," and something come to me today about relapse, man, and the vicious cycle of it, and how we get caught in it, or we don't change things, and all these things, and uh, they tell you, you got to change people, places, and things, and for some of us, that's every single person, places, and thing, and people as well. Um, Codependency is a real big problem. It seems to be a lot of addicts get caught up in a codependency relationship or whatever. Nick, I know you're pretty sure you're aware of what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you know, a lot of times the other person involved doesn't even realize how much they're really hurting you. Because they're doing, they may be doing a lot of things for you and all these different things. But, um, for instance, let's just say that you got someone in your life and you'd been sober for, we'll say, 6 months, and you're riding down the road and you look over at that person and you say, man, I've been thinking about getting high. And their immediate reaction is, how the fuck can you be that? You know what I'm saying? Um, that's not somebody you want to probably bounce that off of anymore. Just things like that. There's so many different things that we do that I mean, lead us to relapse. We can say cause us or whatever. Um, but of course, the number one thing for most addicts is just not doing the program or stop doing it. And there's people, I know people who have stopped or heard the stories. I don't know them personally, who have stopped and white knuckled it for a year. But they always go back out. Um, Me,
oh,
I never tried anything. You would think that in prisons, man, that you would have, AA meetings. You don't. Not in Tennessee. I can only speak for Tennessee. Um, they have a drug program, but the only way you can get in that is if you've been parole mandated, which means you went up for parole and they said, we want to get another year out of you, so we want you to go to the drug program. That means you're parole mandated in it to get out, which means you complete it, you go home. Um, and then they had them, and then they had to shut them down because uh, so many people were on protective custody that they didn't have the space for them, basically, on the compounds. But they're a joke. You go in there and sign your name. That's about it. You ain't got no instructor in there who gives a shit about being there, much less you. So, kind of them deals. There is one jail in Tennessee that I will speak highly of when it comes to that. They had a NA program and an AA program, and it was the real deal. And you had to participate and you had to take it serious. You did get 2 for 1 on your sentence. And I'm gonna give this lady a little plug there. There's a lady by the name of Lynn, and she's the one who brought that there to that jail. I believe she brought it there. I may be wrong on that, but she's definitely over it now. She has a program that works with guys like a halfway house called RCI. I think she has, I don't know, 10 houses or something like that maybe, and she gets a lot of guys out of jail and gives them a chance. You know what I mean?
right. How's
And,
yours doing?
oh man, that's a problem.
Okay. We'll
Yeah,
talk
that's
about it later.
yeah, we'll talk about that later. That
Okay.
later.
I just wasn't sure if you're still going on.
No, no, it's zero ties, man, zero ties, and that's kind of what's. Um, this whole topic tonight in a way, not really, but in a way, because I got caught. I was a chronic relapser, man. I was, and somebody else told me that the other night. I don't want to say who it was, but I believe somebody may be on with us. I can't remember, but anyway, and it is this vicious cycle because, and the reason we do that is because we don't change everything. Um, there's something holding you back. You get me? And it's like with anything else in life. There's something that's holding you back from that success, and um, whatever that is, it's probably going to be hard, and but you have to get rid of it, especially if it's relationships are hard. They tell you don't get in them for a year for a reason in sobriety, and a lot of times, if you're married or just been with someone for a long time or whatever, you don't want to let that person go, but you have to because there's a lot of hurt there, and some people are better about getting over shit, and some people are not. And if they're not, and if let's say you went to treatment and you're in treatment, and that person is just constantly on, well, you did this and you did that and you did this and you got to rid yourself of it. You may be sitting there going, man, that's the hardest thing I got to do. Yeah, it is. Sobriety's hard, man, but it's your life. So it's either keep doing what you're doing and take a chance of dying every time, or get all of it out of your life. Because if you don't, I'm just telling you, I know what's going to happen. And, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. The hell I don't. Uh, I can tell you everything about it. I was a good drug addict, and I was a piece of shit while doing it. And so, I didn't want to let that go because I thought that's all I was. But what you'll find in sobriety is, man, you're a lot more. You can do anything you want to do. God looks out for us, man. I don't have all the answers, but if you read the Bible, Jesus hung out with people like us, so there's something to all that. He knows, man, we have to fight hard. It is a disease. There's people that, for whatever reason, don't want to believe that. But if my mother was an alcoholic and drug addict, and my father, I don't know why I just called him that. If that dude was a alcoholic and drug addict, chances are, man, I'm going to be too. There ain't no chances to it. I've got that gene, and why people want to say it's this, that, and the other, and it's a habit, this, that, and the other. But I think more people now are coming to realize, there's a little bit more to it because it's so freaking hard. Because relapse, man. Look at me, 12 years in prison, man, 12 hard years in prison, and I get out and go right back to doing the same exact shit I was doing to put me in there. Either I'm mentally insane or I've got a problem, and I'm not insane. I think I'm doing all right there. Sometimes I question myself, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty sane. So I've got a problem. If we don't fix that problem, we're going to relapse, just like anything else. What's going to happen to your car if you don't put no oil in it?
It's going to
It
stop.
ain't going to run very long. It's going to stop, man. And why everybody can't see that, Nick? I don't understand. Um,
They
it's
don't want
pretty.
to.
No, they don't want to. That's it. And I didn't want to either. I never wanted it until the last time, and I knew I wanted it. And different ways showed me different little things about me. Showed me that I wanted it. The number one thing was I just wasn't sitting in the back of the room no more, sitting there with a hoodie on and looking down at the ground and not wanting to speak and refusing to speak because I had that old tough guy shit going on. So I just look at somebody and whatever, and I finally open my mouth, and that's what it's all about. You got to get that shit out of you, man. Uh, Whatever it is, it's got you hung up. You got to get it out of you because if you don't, you're going to relapse. And each time you relapse, especially with this drug that I was doing, man, you're taking that chance. You're going to die. So is your life worth it? Either it is or it ain't. And who gives a shit if the girlfriend left? Who gives a shit if you ain't got no money no more? You'll get it. You'll get another girlfriend.
Well,
You'll get all that shit, huh?
I think everybody knows their life's valuable. It's just convincing, like you always say, the heart
The
falling a
heart,
little.
man. It is. You do so much, man. You do so much, and then unfortunately now, these kids now, the mother or father is addicted and are in jail or prison, and that's all they see, and they can get in that whole vicious cycle from a very early age, man, and they think that's what life is. A kid I know, I walked in a bedroom and he was 14 years old, and his mom and his brother had him sitting there smoking crack, and I was just like, and then you want to wonder why he turned out the way he did. Uh, I mean, come on, man. Why did he? Why did he turn out that way? But he had the gene. Everyone but the sister. that they had is a drug addict. She was from a different dad, and they say like it'll skip a gene or whatever. But me and my brother, we have different dads. Um, I got it.
That had to be hard.
It was hard, but neither one of them was in our lives. Neither one of them, and it was hard. My mom was alcoholic, and so and he was 6 years older than me, and so I was already born into a single mother, alcoholic who. I don't talk about. I mentioned my childhood some, and I'm going to do that eventually. Just really talk about how hard it was, and I'm going to be honest why I don't. I feel like the reason that I don't is that I feel like my brother, man, would look at me and wished I didn't. But hey, man, the truth is the truth, and I went to bed hungry. I ate ketchup sandwiches, mustard sandwiches, whatever I could find, and had dirty clothes. I remember I was probably I don't remember what grade I was in. It was before I had my accident, and we lived in a trailer park in Franklin, and skunks were real bad. And when it got underneath the trailer and sprayed underneath there, well, it's all in my clothes shit, and I don't know. I mean, I can just smell them. I go to school, and I had to go get sent home because I smelled like a skunk. That's the most embarrassing shit ever. Even being that little, man, that young. And why'd you send me to school like that? You know what I mean? But anyway,
They
um,
probably didn't even
I
notice the
don't.
smell.
I probably didn't,
I
but
mean, if they're used to that smell, and yeah,
yeah, I don't want to say that my mother didn't love me or anything. They used to try to make
no,
me say
no,
that,
no.
but they would, man, in them treatment centers and stuff, they'd always want you to fault somebody else. I used to always think, damn, I thought the whole idea was me accepting responsibility. But some of them, man, you pay for, man. The people that's the counselors and stuff, they ain't got no schooling or nothing. They just went up and decided they want to be a counselor, and they let them have it because they need to fill the position. So people just didn't know or whatever, and um, but yeah, there were some tough times, man. There was a lot of tough times. I remember, yeah, man. Jamie, if you listen to this, you're just going to have to forgive me for it because I didn't got on it now. But I remember being locked out of my house. So I was being locked out because my mom was drunk somewhere in a bar and would be gone for days, not just a night, be gone for days. And there we was out in the cold and shit. And finally figured out we could break in the back window, or a window like it had like the little square panes in the back door. And we figured out, or he did, he figured out we could take it out and go in and stuff. And I remember being at home by myself, man. I'm like 8 or something. Now he was probably supposed to stay there with me, but I mean he would have been 13 or 14 years old or whatever. But I remember being there for days, and my grandparents didn't know that I was there by myself like that, or they would have come and got me and stuff like that. But and I never want to tell them because I didn't want my mom. I didn't want them to get mad at my mom and all this different stuff. But my childhood was pretty messed up, man. I know people go through a lot worse, but I wasn't beat on or anything like that. And I only remember ever getting whooped 2 times, and um, yeah, that's it. I should have got it. I should have got whooped a lot, but I didn't. I was attention starved, is what I was, and um, people say it caused abandonment issues or whatever. But things were hard. But like I said, my mother was an alcoholic. I understand it now, but
Yeah,
she got her stuff together and things got better. Um, but she was a relapser too. She stopped drinking, and then um, real bad drugs come in the picture, man. And how you doing, OJ? Nice to see you. Um, and that I just don't really want to go into real hard because I don't think my brother really knows the truth about all that. And uh, if he's going to find out, I'd rather tell him, you know what I mean, myself. And because we just never talked about it. He wasn't there. He was gone. And how you doing? I hope you're all right tonight. Um, but I seen shit that I shouldn't seen. I shouldn't have never saw, and all that good stuff. And but I still knew it was wrong, and I still wanted to do it, and I did it. And had I not seen that, would I have done it? I don't know. Probably so, somewhere down the line, but maybe not at 17 years old. But anyway, she got sober, and then she excuse me.
is that your fire
Uh,
alarm?
yeah, hold on just a second, Nick. All right, there we go. Okay, so That's the most sensitive fire alarm I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna take it out eventually, but anyway, so she would relapse, um, but it wouldn't be as bad. You know what I mean? She wouldn't. What happened was she worked at a place called Doug Nash, and they made Corvette transmissions. It was in Franklin, and then they sold out and moved the company to Mexico. But when they did it, my uncle worked there too. I don't know if they bought them out or what it is, but my mother, they did something to where she went. She didn't have a high school education, so she went and got a GED, and she would work during the day and go to school at night, or vice versa, one of the two. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. But she got a degree in data processing and something else, and so things got better. You know what I mean? We still wasn't, rich or even middle class, but things were better. Um, but she wasn't never there, so I was already running wild and all that, and then she did good for a long time, but she was taking pills and stuff, but I didn't really know it. You know what I mean? So she always had a pill habit, and then again, Jamie, if you hear this, she told me she done heroin in the '70s, and I believe she done it while she's pregnant with me. That's what I truly believe, um, and I've always thought that. And I may be wrong, but I was born in the '70s, and so who knows, man? Because I know that her and her best friend was on it to the point that they would be sick from not having it. So because she was talking about the smell of it, like like when you would cook it down and melt it down or whatever with a flame or whatever. And so I always thought, man, I just wonder if you were doing that shit when you was pregnant with me. I know you smoked cigarettes with me. But anyway, and probably drink too, but it is what it is. Uh, but yeah, I've just always had that feeling, and that's things that me and my mother talked about a lot of things that her and my brother didn't. There was a different relationship there. You know what I mean? We
Right.
became getting high buddies. Uh,
You
Very
became
young. I mean,
friends, huh?
yeah, man. We started sharing pills at the age of 15. I mean, so I would get them, and I'd give her half, and she would get some, and I'd get half. So you know, uh, I
Yeah.
had some resentments there, but I don't now. But I did. But I didn't even know I had them. Um, so anyway, and then she got on methadone stuff too, uh, and she quit it, and then she went right back to drinking and drinking a lot. And but I was in jail and all that by this time. But she was sober when she died, but she took pain pills, but she took them as she was prescribed them. Um, but she did. So um,
All this always seems to rotate around something prescribed, don't it?
every time,
So many people.
every time, and it's a euphoric, man. It's a euphoric feeling that comes over you. I remember it. I can tell you, I can remember the very first pain pill I took, and I can remember being 11 years old, and when I had my accident after I come out of ICU or CCU or whatever, uh, they would give me pain shots in my leg. And my mother said that um, on the minute it hit the third hour, I would wake up and hit that button for the nurse saying I need my pain medicine. So I was already addicted then. Um, I can remember it. I remember that. I remember the feeling of it, but I really remember the feeling of the first pain pill. I wouldn't take them, and I was 15, and I was having sex with a woman in her 30s. Um, that was a lot of that went on with me when I was young for whatever reason. And so she was like, "Oh, you should take that. It'd make you feel better." But in reality, she wanted me to give her one. You know what I mean? So she thought that if I took it, then I would give her one, and of course I did. And but I remember when I took it, and man, I just thought, man, I done found my way now. Little did I know what living hell I was fixing to go through. And that's why, I get it. I see people every day, and I get it. I understand. I'm going to help. I'm not going to walk by someone that's just struggling like that because I just know what it's like, man. And it's hard. It's a hard thing. Hey, Tick, how you doing? Um, it's tough. Life is tough enough. And you add that in there, and it's like an escape, but it's an escape that's making your life even better. How you doing tonight? You doing good? Hadn't seen you in a while. Um, and so yeah, Nick, it's all a bad thing. And um, was Nick, you talk about your drinking. Was your parents drinkers or anything like that?
No,
Okay, so you wasn't around it when you were young or anything?
No. See, when I turned 18 in Colorado, you could drink. So, you're just getting done with high school, and that was always our excuse to, that was everybody's excuse, just not mine.
Right. So
Being
just
now you got to be 21 in Colorado. I think most of the U.S., to drink now, but um, you know,
yeah, I think it's everywhere.
it was.
Even tobacco is 21 now. Here, I guess it's
I
everywhere.
think it is. But my big
Uh,
problem was when you're 18, you're just getting out of high school. Uh, the women were more important, so you had to go out and try to impress the women, and uh, you really didn't do nothing until you didn't really straighten up until you started drinking,
right.
or started. You didn't straighten up until you actually met someone or got married. Then you tried your best. High tech. mm, Yeah, must see they start at 16 down there.
Wow. I remember, yeah, drinking. She's talking about drinking. Yes, ma'am. That's what he was talking about. I had a friend. He was a year younger than me. And so when I was 15, he was 14. I was on pills, and he was a stone cold alcoholic at 14 years old. Um, he would drink vodka, man. And I mean, he would drink it. He would just get so sloppy drunk. It was just like an embarrassment to be around him, even at that age. And I remember we was in school one morning. He came, he sat down beside him, and I could smell beer all over him. I was like, "Damn, man, are you drinking this morning?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Wow." And his dad was a real bad alcoholic, and his mother and stepfather drank all the time and partied. And uh, the stepfather sold pot, so we found a suitcase full of pot one time, and I was used to that. I'd seen it, but he hadn't, and I was like, that's a lot of weed, just for dude to be smoking. He's doing more than smoking. And but he was
You
a
found
prick,
a
man.
suitcase?
We found one, yeah, in the closet, snooping through his parents' shit or whatever. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's
it wasn't
gross.
supposed wasn't supposed to be doing that. But he knew that he smoked weed, and so we were trying to find some weed, and
You found
um,
some.
we found some. And do you know he knew that we took some out of there too? But he was a prick, man. That dude was a prick. We was at the mall in Franklin one night, and I had my driver's license this time, and of course we was messing with the girls like he's talking about, and he got so sloppy drunk that they didn't want to have nothing to do with us because he was so drunk. And so we go home, and I'd been drinking too, but I wasn't drunk. And we go home, and his mom called wanting to talk to him. Well, he was so drunk, she could tell it immediately. And so they come to get him, and they took him home. When they took him home, that dude I'm talking about, his stepdad beat this boy, man, and beat him bad. Well, he was passed out drunk pretty much. I mean, he couldn't. There's no way to defend himself, much less it was a grown ass man. But he ended up getting him back for that shit. And he took a what's called a slapjack and ended up and beat the guy up or whatever. But that kid I'm talking about, of course, I went to prison and all that, and I come out and I see him, and he's done had like 5 DUIs, had a wreck, broke his back. Um, Character building. It does. You're right. It does. It plays. Hey, Black Dragon, how you doing? It plays a huge role in it. You're correct. I mean, for me, um, everybody smoked pot, everybody drank, and that's what I saw. And we would be little, and people would be driving around, and we'd be in a van or a car, and they'd be smoking weed and drinking, drunk as hell. And we was little riding around, and we just thought it was normal. Um, and so I remember I was probably 8 years old, maybe nine, and I found a monkey see, monkey do. You're correct. I found it was a cigarette pack, but it had joints rolled up in it. And I already automatically knew what to do. And I stole it. Or I didn't steal it. I found it and kept it. Well, they come looking for it. I'm not getting it back. Even being that young, here I go trying to smoke it already at that young. And yeah, I mean, I used to always say, man, I wonder why I did the things I did because that's what I saw. I was always around older people, and I saw people drunk and fighting. But one thing I saw was men beating women, and that's something, man, that I hate. I just can't stand that more than anything in the world. A man beating a woman, I just think that's the most sickening thing you can do. And I always say, you don't beat a woman, come beat on me, beat on me then or whatever. And I saw my mother, man. I saw my mother. God, I saw my mother get, but I was too little, or there wasn't nothing I could do about it at that time. But I'm talking about beat guy here with a truck, hit her with a brick, and he was a big guy. He was a contractor, built houses, and I always swore, though, as I got older. One day I tried to find him, and I had whatever you want to call it for him, but I never could find him. And it's okay, Tick. It's I'm okay with it now. But hey Bella, how you doing? I'm just trying to explain, how my life was, and I want parents to understand, man. Your kids are seeing all this, and I'm 48 now, and I remember every minute of it. There ain't nothing about that shit that I don't remember. And yeah, I can't stand it like that either, man. And I've got in the middle of women, a man beating on a woman. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Half of the time, the woman gets mad at me. I've never understood that. But when that happens, you just walk away. But I saw her get hit in the head with a like a mug, like you drink beer with. I saw her dude hold a knife to her head or to her throat. I mean, just all kind of shit. I was real little, and then she met this guy, and it was after that guy, and this was after she had got sober and stuff. But I hated this dude, and he hated me, and he was just mean to me, man. Not in like a physical way, but when I was about 13 years old, he come there talking about he's gonna beat me up or whatever. And this is the exact words I told him. I said, "You're a lot bigger than me." I said, "I really think I can beat you up now." I said, "But if you put your fucking hands on me, I'm gonna kill you in your sleep." And he packed his shit and left, never come back. But because that just took me back to people beating on my mom is what it did, and I kind of freaked out or whatever. And that's just wrong. And I just don't get it. I don't understand why women stay, and I don't really want to get on that. But um, it's bad, man. It's real bad. But she stayed for. I mean, she would stay, and he was married, and would only come every so often, whenever. But yeah, dog, every time he'd come, he'd beat her up.
What do you think makes people do that? I mean, I know you get
Man,
mad, but you think a
man, I'm
lot
gonna
of
be
it
honest about
is
it.
the drugs and alcohol and
I think it's that, and I think it's a lot of times it's a man who can't beat up another man, and he feels some type of way about it. That's how I feel about it. I think you're a pussy ass coward if you do. That's what I think.
well, yeah, but you even see these stars and athletes and that
Yeah,
have all the
yeah.
money in the world and they still do it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Makes no sense to me. And these women go for it, and I don't
Oh,
know. I
some
guess
do,
that,
but
yeah, not all, but some, and I've never done that, man. I've never put my hand on a woman, and I had an anger problem for a long time, but I've never done that. I never even, nothing. I'm not going to do that. I never would do that. Uh, and so I guess that's something good I did get out of all that shit from my childhood. You know what I mean?
well,
It is
yeah,
very scary for a kid, man. I mean, I can remember being that little kid. I remember my aunt. She got killed not long after this, but she came down with a pistol and told him, "If you ever put your f hands on my sister again, I'll kill you." And she had a pistol and stuff. And I don't really remember Judy real well, but apparently she was a firecracker, and she probably would have. But now, my mom, no woman deserves that, but my mom was innocent. She would want to fight too. I remember her telling me one time. She called that dude my dad when I was with her, and she said, "When your dad comes over here, I'm gonna hit him in the head with this frying pan." And she tried to do that. She was drunk, but still, you know what I mean, whatever. But yeah, so it's crazy. And then something about vodka. And when I was
hey, Black
on
Dragon.
the run, huh?
Oh, I was saying hi, Black Dragon. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. When I was on the run in Texas, when I first got all these charges, my son's mother was pregnant with him, and this was not long before she had him. My mom and him didn't have a phone out there where they lived at, so I couldn't call him. But I just had a gut feeling, you know what I'm saying, that something wasn't right. So I go out there, and uh, as I walk up on the back porch, I lived in a trailer. I walk up on the back porch, and as soon as I see inside, I see glass and stuff all over the kitchen floor, and I'm like, "What in the hell?" And the dude she was with was sitting there with another dude, and I said, "Where's my mom at?" And he just in a real smart ass way said, "She's in there or whatever." So he's already pissed me off, and so I go in there, and she's got blood all on her arm and shit. And I said, what happened to you? And she said, they jumped on me. And that's all it took. And here I go in there. And um, it turned real bad, man. And I leave and go home. And one dude was hurt pretty bad. And I go home. And the next day I go to work and I had a cracked rib. And I still went to work. And then when I come home, Cassandra said, we got to go out your mom's. And I was like, whatever. And so we go out there and come to find out, man, she was drunk and she threw that glass at them and didn't nobody touch her. Uh, and so that's that alcohol shit. So all that shit happened. One dude had to get 37 stitches in his head and stuff. And so, but again, all that went back to my childhood. You know what I mean? I immediately, I thought these two dudes had jumped on my mom.
Hmm.
You know, alcohol, man, that drunk is just, I don't like alcohol, man. I don't like drugs, but I don't like alcohol for sure. I don't like what it does and makes people do and all that. So yeah, it was a wild ride. It was a wild ride, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that used to be my thing, the alcohol.
Hmm. You know, someone in my life in the past, she liked to drink, and I couldn't stand it. I thought it was disgusting. I just thought it was the most disgusting thing ever. But of course, well, you're doing dope. Don't make me act like that. And always the same every night, man. Every freaking night would be she'd be drunk and she'd want to fight and argue, and I hate that shit. I just hate all that old arguing. It's just pointless, man.
So you think the alcohol is more violent over the some of the other drugs like that, or
Well,
does it
I
make
think
you
while the
gutsier? You
person,
think, or
I
like
think while the person is on alcohol, but now people do some very violent shit to get drugs. I didn't. I never was a violent person to get drugs, but there's people who are, and do some, especially nowadays. So I guess it's, you know, kind of up in the air on that.
maybe the individual?
There you go. It is, and it's like, I used to say, man, I hate people driving drunk, but Nick, I've drove, man, where I couldn't even keep one eye open, but on dope. You know what I mean? Uh, I
Right.
had a couple wrecks. Two of them were pretty bad by myself, but could have been really bad. And driving and getting drunk is, yes, it is. It is, man. It's the same thing for people on dope. I know a guy who personally he left and nodded out on heroin and hit a really good man head on and killed that man, and he ended up dying from it as well. And hey, Bobby, how you doing? Um, and so yeah, it's all bad. All of it's bad, man. Um, I agree. I do agree with you, GJRB, for sure. It's all bad. Now people mixing Xanaxes and everything, and that's just like being drunk. And you add heroin to it, or methadone, or pills, and there you go, man. Or drinking and smoking weed, intensifies it. So,
So
but
do
for
you
whatever,
think a casual user is a addicted person, or
mm-mm.
because
No,
there's
if
people
you
out
can,
there I know that will have one or two, maybe even three drinks a night. Starting with their dinner and stuff.
no, I don't think they're addicted. Um, someone that does that is just your, casual drinker, to relax or whatever. And I don't have no problem with that. I don't think you need to be driving, but if you can, the same thing with pot. I'm not an advocate for it. I'm not an advocate against it. I don't smoke it. I can't smoke it, and I don't drink. But if you can have a drink, more power to you. If you have a glass of wine with your dinner, hey, more power to you. I can't, because if I drink that glass of wine, I'm going to want the bottle and then 10 more bottles, and tomorrow I'm going to want,
Yeah. But
uh,
what about a casual drug user? Are there
I don't,
such things as that?
I don't know one. I don't know any.
So
Um,
either you use it and you use it all the time, or you just don't use it.
Yes, especially opiates. If you become an opiate addict, because your body is physically addicted, and so if you wake up tomorrow and you had the worst flu times 100 that you ever had, you would go and get that drug. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the difference. And like meth and cocaine, that's a mental thing, but it's a strong mental thing. Don't get me wrong. There's some very serious cocaine, and it's the same thing. The relapse and stuff. That's the same thing. Because once you get sober, it's all a mental game now. You know what I'm saying? Once you get the physical part out of the way, it's all a mental game, and you either do what you need to do, or you're strong enough to. Um, um, I forgot where I was going. I was trying to read that message. Casual drinking or doping. It is a lot of times that is where it starts, and I mean, we hear these stories all the time of people who, let's say, I'm gonna use a woman because she's the first one to come to my head. She was a casual wine drinker. She would have a glass of wine. She was come from wealthy. She was Miss UT at the University of Knoxville and all these things. A very, very beautiful woman. Was wealthy and all that, and they would have a glass or two of wine at night, and that was it. But then she got I, double pneumonia, I believe, and was coughing so bad that she cracked some of her ribs, and they gave her a coughing syrup with codeine in it, and there she went. And next thing you know, she's addicted because of the physical addiction, but she had an addiction gene somewhere in her body as well. Just alcohol never did really do the thing, but as soon as she got that codeine in her body and got that euphoric feeling, there it is. It's over. You're off and running. Mm. There's thousands and thousands of stories like that, but the the opiate thing really really took off in this country with oxy cotton or whatever. Um, I was already in prison during that, but if you go and look at it, I think it's 2014, 1.4 million people, I believe I'm right about the number, admitted to using oxycontin or whatever the first time, and then were addicted. Um, I think it's also an individual situation. Yeah, it is. Some people don't. I mean, some people go and get prescribed pain medicine, and it doesn't lead to an addiction. Uh, but the majority of people do. Uh, but that's you know, again, it's each little individual thing. Can y'all hold on just a second, please? Hey, can y'all please not stand here by my door screaming and yelling? I'm right here on the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'm back. Um, I just know for me, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Um, but there are a lot of people, man, who, I don't know anybody, Nick. I don't think that is just a casual pill taker. I'll say um, they may start out that way, and that's kind of how it starts. You'll get it, you'll take it in energy. Oh, I got me some energy now. I can work twice as hard. Um, I can, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it starts. That's what it is with the opiate thing. Or if here's the thing about pain pills, they really don't stop your pain. They just get you high, and you kind of forget about it. Because a lot of people take the pain pills and take Tylenol or ibuprofen with it. And that's what is kind of the crazy about it. And it's like, I knew a lady from, where was she from? It was another country. I want to say Brazil or somewhere like that. And she said they sold like codeine or whatever on the store shelves, but like people didn't take it. They weren't addicted to it. And I was like, wow, I think I'm wrong. I think it was Brazil. It was somewhere like that. And if they sold it here in America, at one time, 97% of all opioid induced drugs was made for the United States of America. So think about that. Um, and now, we had that guy on here from, was it Guana, and then India the other night. And they said heroin and stuff's just as bad there.
I'm sorry. I was just replying to OJ there.
Oh, you're fine. Um,
Yes. I agree with him. I mean, I think most individuals can, I guess, choose. Everybody, as far as having a couple drinks a night or a couple a week. A
yeah.
lot of times it does what's it called? It does get worse,
Yeah,
um, because then it's like now you're going to do it Saturday during the basketball game, and then you're going to do it Sunday, with another set of friends with the football game. And now you got a group of people once you go out on Wednesday night for the hump day. So, I mean, it can get out of control very easily.
and that's what we saw, or I saw. Like, okay, that's OJ. That was from India. That's right. I remember now.
Mm,
He's on here.
yeah. Yeah, we were texting each other about. Mm,
It's just everywhere now. I mean, and I say this a lot. You would think a drug addict would look at someone, and I'll call them junkies because I was a junkie. That's what you are. I mean, that's, when we're strung out like that, that's the word. And in my opinion, it's a good word because I was a junkie. I was a junkie of junkies, and we see that, and then we still decide that, hey, it's a good idea to do that. You know what I mean? Um, why? I don't know. It has to be that I don't know, the addict in you. You know what I mean? Or that little voice that says, "Oh man, I can do that. I won't be like that." And then there you are, 6 months down the road, you're just as bad. And um, I don't care how much money you got or how much whatever, you're going to be that way too. It's going to happen.
well,
Um,
sometimes more money, the more you do it.
that's exactly what happens. The more money you have, the more drugs you have because your tolerance will build, and it'll
Mhm.
start out. You hear people say this. Well, I was on the OxyContin and then figured out that I could get more heroin than I could for the amount of money. Yep, it starts that way, but it doesn't stay that way because now it becomes you start spending twice as much, and you start shooting the heroin more times than not, and that's a whole nother demon. Um, it's just bad. It's nasty. I'm gonna let Black Dragon come in. The phone lines are open too if anybody wants to call in.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
what's going on, man?
I'm doing pretty good, and I agree with a lot of what y'all are saying, and and in any case, anything can be a bad thing, of course, and of course, like I said before, everyone knows me and know what I regret ever doing, but you know, that's the thing that I'm trying to just to stay buried in my past. I never done drugs, never drink. That's good, but I've done one thing that still is bad, and we've all done something that's not good. It don't have to be drugs or drinking. Now, GGRB, if you can hear me, you know what I've done that I'm ashamed of, and it's fooling with the occult with the Ouija board. And like I've said many times before, anything you get involved with is not always the best thing for you.
No, no, it's not. There's other addictions. People get addicted to gambling. Man, gambling is a bad one.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
I was a gambler. I wasn't really addicted to it like that, but I did gamble. Uh,
See, I
I'd
love
get high
gambling.
and go gamble. Yeah, some people can do it. I mean, you're not selling your house and
No.
um, all that good stuff. GGRB, I sent the thing. I accepted it. I don't know if you didn't mean to do that. Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, well I hit the button. See, my finger doesn't always work. I have to. I have a rubber end of my pen that you use for the phone, and I don't use it. And what happens when I don't use it is I hit the wrong thing, and I don't get
Oh,
through
I disagree with you, Bobby.
what the phone to do. Yeah, people can get addicted to anything. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
there's cell phones even for that matter.
Yep.
Everyone's addicted to that.
Yeah.
See, I enjoy gambling, but I know what I can. I know what my limit is daily, and I know what my limit is monthly, and everything.
I go up to Franklin, Kentucky, and play the little slots every now and then.
Oh,
But
I play every day.
yeah, if I'm up in the area or something like that, I'll stop in there and play. But I won't. I don't go overboard. But I win. I do win, and I used to be a poker player. Uh, I don't play poker anymore. I don't know anybody that really plays, but I stop in there every now and then. But I
Oh,
just,
I do.
Quite don't understand the game, so I don't play.
oh, I understand it well, man. I run the poker table in prison for many, 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 many years, and that was my thing. But it's kind of like in the back of my mind, I just I just don't try to push the envelope on things anymore. I'm scared. I'm scared of anything taking over my life again because my life's good today, and I want to keep it that way, and it gets better every day.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, that's what I'm saying, GGRB. This youth, they need to stay away from the occult. I wish I only had listened to that voice in my head. And I know what I did it for, Dane. You want to know the real truth why I messed with that thing?
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, folks. I was mad at the whole world and everybody in it. I didn't like a thing about it. And I was taking my anger and vengeance out on folks. Something I shouldn't have been doing. But GGRB, can you blame me for being mad when I do
I,
get mad? No.
no, no, no. Of course not.
when you go in Walmart or any other game store, and there it is for you to see right there on the shelf, um, kids and everybody. I mean, it don't come.
Yeah.
And people think it's a game, and it's not a game. There
No.
is good and evil forces in this world, and
Yes, there
uh,
is.
if you think it's not, you need to do a little bit of reading. That's all you got to do. Uh,
Yeah.
nowadays we see these people talk about it, and they're not just talking about it for no reason. They don't look scared like that for no
No.
reason. Uh,
No. No, they don't. And you
you
know
know,
what,
we-
GGRB? I've seen, I don't know how many videos I can tell you I will see daily about people that regret doing the very thing that I regret I did.
Yeah.
A lot of them, man.
yeah,
A lot of them. You'd be surprised. It's a who's who list.
yeah. I've seen.
Same with
Yeah.
pornography.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's another bad thing. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
Uh,
Definitely is.
it all comes from America too. Uh,
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
so uh, you know,
And the thing about it is, the bad thing about it is on here. I don't know who's sending it, but
No.
it was right here on that podcast Nation.
yeah,
I
I
don't
saw
know
it.
if I don't know if what's his name is monitoring that closely, Eric.
I hope so.
But the one other day I got something on there and I clicked onto it and it is a porn site.
Oh, no.
Did
Yeah.
you not see what I said to him on there? I said, I don't F prostitutes. Stay the F off of here, is what I said.
No.
Uh, but
Uh-uh.
anyway, yeah. You
That's,
can't go any, you
no.
can't go on any site anywhere without,
No.
100 prostitutes.
I'm getting it
See,
over on my Instagram too.
you
And all
see
that
that.
is
You
sex
see.
traffickers, man. That's all that is. That's sex traffickers, is what that is.
See, that's why I don't want to be a part of the Pod B Nation. I'm sorry, no offense to Eric or any of the work that he's trying to do, but that's why I'm afraid if I was to do that, GGRB, how do I know I won't get something awful coming my way? And I can't afford that. I have a squeaky clean image anyway as a radio
Oh
personality.
yeah, well,
You
so
know?
do I. And the thing about it is, I know how to just ignore it.
Yeah, yeah,
I just don't. I click on it. Oh boy, I'm getting out of this, and I
yes,
leave it
yeah,
alone, and I just ignore the postings.
yeah,
That's all there is. And on Instagram, I just go over there and just delete them.
yes. But
Yeah.
no, Dane and me, we're both right. I mean, the things of this world that can really mess you up, it's definitely not worth it, and it's not a joke. Like he's saying, it's not a joke.
No, it's not a joke.
He's right.
Um, there's been, in my opinion, and this is my opinion. I know there's probably somebody listening to whatever about the Bible, but there's two seed lines, man. It all started in the very beginning. And it's
Yep.
good and evil, and that's what
Yep.
we have. And the
Yeah.
evil is a spirit thing, and it's out there in the spirit world, and you better be ready for it because you can be tricked and be pulled right into it very, very easy, and that's very,
Yep.
very real.
Absolutely. Not only that, but you know how clever these demons are, GGRB? They can make you think that they're your family members when they're not.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
That like that.
This guy. Yeah, I say that all the time on my way out there show.
That's it.
I tell paranormal stories
Yeah.
because it's part of my show.
Yeah.
But because I always wanted to have a show like George Norrie,
Of course.
that kind of show, and that's what Way Out There is about.
Well, yeah.
But I always have a disclaimer in my program that says, "Don't be messing with this. You're entertaining demons, as a Christian, I just don't, I don't believe in it. You know.
No, and that goes the same double for me with my world of the paranormal. I mean, though I will not, and I will tell people all the time, no alien talk, no politics, no government stuff. I don't want to hear all this the hoopla of who did that to over there to wherever in the world it was at. Because quite frankly, that's none of my business. And why
Well, I
would I
don't
care
know.
about people's
I
business in
still
their
like to
lives?
make fun of
I don't.
politicians.
Well, I don't like making fun of them, GGRB. I don't like making fun of nobody. But the thing about it is, the way America's going down, it's not hidden down a good path.
Just Biden's a psycho. He's a nut job. What do you expect?
Yeah, well, is it going to be funny if America goes bye bye? Would that be funny?
Well,
Well, no, but the thing about it is, look at the thing that really is making my blood boil right now is these illegals coming over the border. Okay,
Yeah,
and the thing that's really making my blood boil is he's letting him come through.
I don't like it
And
either.
I agree
Believe
with
me,
Donald Trump when he said that there's no no borders is no country at all.
there isn't. There is not. And without them borders, and besides that, they're not supposed to be over here anyway.
yeah. Uh,
Period.
we got about 9 minutes left on here. I'm gonna cut this one at an hour. I do
Nah,
have something I have to do at the top of the hour.
well, I got
But
some things to do tonight anyway.
yeah. Here's the thing is that we're tricked so much, man. We're lied to so much, and that's with everything. And that goes back to the whole big pharma pharmaceutical thing. I don't know if y'all know the story or not about the whole OxyContin thing, but if you don't,
Yes,
Yeah,
I
on
know about it.
YouTube, watch it called Painkillers, and it don't piss you off. You don't have a heart, I don't think, because that was some real bull crap. So many millions of people became addicts, and they knew what they were
yeah,
doing, and they did it on purpose to save their family because their family was broke. The old man died, they didn't have any money, and the son come up with a big, great idea. He had the greatest thing ever in the painkiller stuff, and that's what happened. And so they made all these billions of dollars, and so our country is so good. They finally made them pay, I think, 100 million. It still ain't even final now, but there's people getting paid 100 million. I mean, they made billions. Why not take it all? You know it was illegal. The FDA rushed it through. I could go on and on.
yeah,
Um, and it pisses me off. Mine started
Yeah,
before that, but it's the same damn thing. They knew that the minute they made a pain pill what it was for. Like I said, pain medicine does not stop pain. In case you don't know that, it just makes you high. It makes you euphoric. It makes you almost forget about it. Most people who take it, they still take Tylenol or ibuprofen, and this is why I do this show today. You can tell them now I'm getting a little bit passionate about it because it does piss me off, man, and it
me
still
too.
goes on because why does it
yeah.
go on? Because all these crooked ass people are still making money off of it, and they're going to. Who are
And
the
remember when
lobbyists,
Rush
man?
Limbaugh was addicted? And
Yeah.
I felt bad
Who
because
pays who pays these
he
politicians all this money? Who are the lobbyists?
yeah.
Look into that. It's all these pharmaceutical companies, man. And they're giving them all these millions and millions of dollars because they're letting them do it. And it's the same thing. I have my opinion on why the border's open because they're making money off all the fucking dope coming across it. And so, um,
And to get votes, Democrats want all these votes.
This
That's why
is
they're coming
why
over.
this is why I can't do politics, GGRB, because you can see even right now I can feel that the bipolar starting to come out
Oh
also.
yeah, yeah. We can stop
Oh
it.
boy.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I I'm gonna have
yeah.
a. I'm
You
thinking
know,
about another podcast that I used to do one, and now that I'm on Podbean, I like to do some
Hmm.
kind of political news type oriented program.
yeah, you probably get a lot of people
Basically,
on it.
with a Christian perspective,
It's
Yeah.
gonna be
because
hard.
that
That's gonna be hard because Um, people, especially right now, that's that's a very touchy subject, just like it is with me and drugs, man. My heart is in this thing, man, and I'm angry. I'm angry at what they do. I see it every day, and you
Well,
could stop it.
you know what I'm angry at? I'm angry where this country's going. I don't like it a bit. And one another thing I don't like that has angered me, GGRB, shortages that America didn't used to be the land of shortages.
well, sometimes I wish I could go back in time and
You
go
know,
back to the 50s. I would love to
really
go
do.
back to the 1950s. I had dreams of going back to the 50s and being a disc jockey and just living in the 50s.
You
We
know what?
still
You can.
had
I tell you what. You go to the '50s. I'll take my time machine and go to the '80s. There
we
you go.
still had. But see, my mind immediately goes to that's when the rich housewives were there on methadone and heroin still. You know, we don't tell them. They don't tell about all that. But we already had a drug problem at that time, but it was only the rich white people, so it wasn't a problem. Um,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
the reality of it, man. You know, and then the whole idea was it was only in the black neighborhoods and Mexican neighborhoods, and it took a white rich kid dying before they did anything about it. What about this poor white kid? Why didn't you give a fuck about me? You know what I mean? And that's the reality of it, and that's just how it is, man. And
The reality of the world. Nobody cares about no one at
And
all.
nope.
didn't drugs go around like in Motown and all that too?
Yeah, well, I mean, heroin really got big. Denzel Washington does a movie about it. And that movie he does is true story. You know, it's Vietnam. Vietnam, it really got bad. Our soldiers went over and got so addicted to opium and stuff. They were smoking that opium, and then it turned into heroin, and then they started bringing all that heroin in here. And the Bronx, New York, man, it really went bad. And um,
What movie was that?
American Gangster, Denzel
Oh,
Washington. It's
Yeah,
actually a good movie. It's got Russell Crowe in it, Denzel Washington, some other
Hmm.
people. It's a really good movie, really, if you watch it.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I heard of that one, and I have seen that one.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, true. No one cares about no one. I just saw a video a while ago, man. You know, and I see people, and it's bad, man. But when you more people are starting to care now. But when you're a drug addict, everybody just looks like, oh, well, you chose that. I promise you right now, I did not choose it. You know, I chose to take my life back, and I choose to be sober every day. Um,
Amen. Amen.
and so, and that's what that's what I do. But I'm passionate about it, and I think that's why my show is catching on like it is because people hear that, man, I really care, and I'm really trying to do something. I want to go to the capitals.
Yeah.
I want to go and scream
Amen.
as loud as I can because I want people to understand, man, this is not a freaking game. You know, you
No, it
think
isn't.
it affects everybody now. Everybody's affected by it now. There's nobody
Yeah.
that's not affected by it because everybody wants to escape, and now we're raising the kids to think that they have all these different problems that they don't freaking have. And so what are they going to do? They're going to run to dope, and there your kid's going to be dead. You better wake up and think about it.
And the addiction does start, other family members, older family members, parents.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, we grew up, our parents smoked. My mother did, my father did, then my sister did. So what did I do when I got older? I was buying a pack of cigarettes.
That's right. All right, everybody, man. I want to thank everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Nick, buddy. You're always here. Thank you, Blake Dragon. You always come by
You're
when you
welcome.
can.
Yes, sir.
GGRB, thank
It's a
you.
pleasure being on your show.
Thank you, my
Interesting.
friend. Thank you,
All
Bobby,
right.
OJ,
Have a good
TikTok,
night now.
or Tick Radio. Excuse me, not TikTok. Excuse me. I'm sorry for that. I thank everybody, man. Like I said from day one, everybody's been on it, has supported me. But again, it's only one reason why I'm here, and that's God. We can't,
Amen.
that's the most important fact of it all. God and Jesus Christ. That's
Amen.
what saved me. I do work a program, but without God and Jesus Christ, it wouldn't none of it matter.
That's
Um,
right.
Amen.
he's what wakes me up every
Amen.
morning and lets me go to sleep at night and blesses my
Amen.
life unbelievably that I don't deserve. I get more grace than I deserve, and that's for sure. And
Amen.
I'll keep doing the right thing, and he'll keep on clicking me right on along. And if y'all want to know
Amen.
how it works, get you a little bit of God, man. He'll take you a long
Amen.
way. Uh,
Yeah.
Amen.
all right, man. I truly love
All right.
everybody. And if you're listening on the other end of this thing and you need some help, Dane Gentry Podcast at gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll do my best to reach out to you as soon as I can and lead you in the right direction. Just grab onto my shirt tail, man, and follow me. I'll show you the way. Everybody have a good night, and I'll see y'all next time. See you, Nick. Thank you, buddy.
see you later, dude.
All right, man. See you.
Good night.